It's Friday night, and it's time to put the women and children to bed, and let's rank some rookie wide receivers, putting them into the tier maker, and let's see what happens. Let's see if we had any changes, and you know how we do it. We had a couple new wide receivers each week, add them into the mix, rank them up, and then next week we'll add some more. The ones missing, it's not because they're not valued. It's just because they just didn't get added in this week. We're just adding a few in each week, switching it up. And now it's time to make these adjustments for this week. So starting with the top tier, S tier, whatever you want to call it, the top guys of this year's class, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison. We always start off with these three, and I'm sure a lot of people do. Jackson Smith-Njigba, I like him. He's safe. He's got upside. Quentin Johnston, you know what? I've had him up at top. I've had him back here. I've had him in the middle. I've had him back up top. I've had him in the back. I'm sure a lot of people's been doing this. I love the athleticism. I love the speed. I get it. The floor's kind of low. I love the upside, and I'm chasing that. I really want to see where he goes in the draft, but I think he's a damn good wide receiver. Good breakout metrics, good market share throughout his career, good stats. Same with Jordan Addison. These three guys has been stellar. They've been good. They're going to be first-round wide receivers, and they're guys that everyone's going to be chasing in the first-round rookie drafts. Starting off with A tier, and I'm going to go back at it again, the same fashion as last week. Kayshon Boutte, Josh Downs, Zay Flowers, Jalen Hyatt. A lot of people this week has asked me what I think about Josh Downs. He flashes on the metrics, especially in market share, early breakout age, looks good on tape, good market share. I like Zay Flowers as well. I think he can give you some upside. I think he's a damn good cerebral wide receiver, very nuanced. Jalen Hyatt. I think some people are confused where I'm at on him. I like him for air yards, and that's about it. I think he's scary as hell. I can get you those deep targets. I think he's feast or famine. I feel like he's very situation dependent. Like, I feel like if he goes to a team with suspect quarterback play, suspect offense, it could get scary. If he goes to a team with a quarterback with a launch pad for an arm, that might be a perfect marriage. Kayshon Boutte, it did not change from last week. I'm going to let you know that he should flirt with this tier, and he should flirt with these guys. And he's the scariest one of the bunch, or be at the top of tier A. Reason for that, and I came to this conclusion looking at the entire wide receiver market, how deep it is with 150, how it feels like, wide receiver twos. You know what? Josh Downs, Zay Flowers, they probably fall into that bubble. Kayshon Boutte has the upside to break through that, just like these top three guys. He had that down year this year, downish for him. New coaching staff coming back from injury, had the injury season the year prior. That season would have been a bonkers year. Prior to the injury, he was up there with these guys. Easy. Consistency has been a thing I've noticed, but when he's on, he's up there with these guys. And that's what I'm chasing. I want to chase the upside. I always do, and you guys know from watching the channel that I'm a gambler. And when I say I'm gambling, I'm letting you know that you can jump in and gamble with me, or you can jump back and do what you want, because I'll give you that choice. I don't care what you do, but I'm just letting you know what I'm doing, is I think he belongs here with the notion that he's a little bit risky, but if he reverts back to his old self, dude, he's the best one in the class. That's what you're getting. That's where he was at before the injury. And if he reverts back to that, he's here. So he's flirting with here to here with me. And maybe I should add another tier and just make it the Kayshon Boutte tier. Maybe that's the fairest thing. But you know what? I got to make it fit in the picture. So that's where he's at. He's in the Kayshon Boutte tier. Tier B, we got some changes. Raheem Jarrett, huge upside. And when I'm chasing wide receivers in those middle rounds, I'm pegging for upside. I'm pegging for that athleticism, and you're chasing the athlete here, and you're hoping he was just on shitty Maryland with shitty baby Tua quarterback throwing the ball. Baby Tua out there quarterback just dicing it up, mixing things up, and Raheem Jarrett might live up to that 5-star prowess. Probably not, but if you're really jonesing over that, you'd have him up here. Never up there, but still B for upside. I have 2 risers. He was in B tier last week, but he's really in B tier now. Marvin Mims. And some of his indicators in the market share prowess, his athletic metrics, his production metrics, it's shining. It's shining. It's looking good. And then once I saw that, I had to go back at the tape. I like the ball skills. He's very nuanced. Size could be a thing. But the real thing here is he can be a good second or third wide receiver on an NFL team and still get you that production. He can be a good wide receiver 2, 3, 4, whatever. A good guy on your Dynasty team for some time. And I feel like he needs talked about a little bit more. I think I've seen some people talk about him, but I think for the rankings, he's pushing more towards the A tier when you're thinking about dependency. A big riser here, and I think some of you guys who watch this channel is going to love this. It's going to be Parker Washington. One thing about him is he's lighting up on the production metrics. Breakout age kind of solid. Nothing bonkers, though. Trendy slot receiver, has good size. He's thick. He's a thick boy. Like, listed around 215-ish range, 210-ish range, 5'10 to 6 foot range. Thick boy, thick slot receiver. Can he develop into more? And if he does, that could be more. He had decent market share metrics, hitting like around 25%-ish with Jahan Dotson there in that slow Penn State offense. If that Penn State offense was more explosive, we might be talking about him more. But man, his hands are nasty. He's dangerous at the catch points. He is nasty at the catch points. That's one thing you got to like about him, and he'll be in the slot. A bigger slot receiver who's nasty at the catch point could be a good value. 3rd round of rookie drafts. That's probably where you're seeing him. 3rd round-ish. But when you look at the production metrics, he lights up a little bit. And then the next guy here, Xavier Hutchinson. He has some good production metrics. Really lit it up this year. And I'm souring on him a little bit. And I had him probably around here in this range. He was never in tier A. He was never in tier A for me, but he's dropping a little bit. He's a little old. He's a little old for me, and I have to weigh that in. But I'm also weighing in ball skills. I'm weighing in the production metrics. I'm weighing in that he was productive off the rip once he got to Iowa State. So instantly, however, he was a little older then. He went to JUCO prior. But again, you can't really put that against him too much. Draft capital is going to be end-all, be-all. I think he's going to have draft capital somewhere close to Mims, but I could be wrong too. Raheem Jarrett could fall in the draft. He's the riskiest of the bunch here in B. And I like Mims the best out of this group. Parker Washington's really grown on me. Hutchinson's been up there for me, and he's kind of coasting back. He could coast back up. That's the way the offseason works, and this is why this channel's kind of like a draft diary, per se, for me as we go through these prospects. Tier C, Trey Palmer, Rashee Rice, Cedric Tillman. We got some fallers here. Rashee Rice, Cedric Tillman. They're falling for me. You know why they're falling for me? Rashee Rice is old as shit. He's old. Ball skills is good. Productive last season. Had a good season 2 years ago per market share standards. However, it's just not settling well for me. I feel like the draft capital could be too high. I feel like draft Twitter just talked him up because they saw the highlights, saw the tape, and it looked good. Remember, old wide receiver from a G5 school is not a good look. Old wide receiver from a G5 school is not a good look. You should be balling out on 18, 19, 20-year-old dudes when you're 22 years old. You should be. And I think 22, 23-ish, I got to look that back up. He's old. Cedric Tillman, I like him. I like what I see. Older wide receiver, had some injuries, but I'm souring on him a little bit. I think when it comes to his play, I think he'll move back up around here once I start looking back at him again. But going over him again this week, I'm starting to get a little lower. Trey Palmer flashes on a lot of market share, a lot of number indicators. and I'm intrigued by him. The start of the season had some good numbers popping in that first game, I think, against Northwestern, getting a lot of targets. Watching him play over the season, you can tell he could do some things. Moving down here in Tier D, and some of these guys will move up to see when I'm talking about them, because I'm changing my mind here right when I'm pulling them up here. I'm going to pull them all up. I got Dontavian Wicks, Nathaniel Tank Dell, Michael Wilson, Puka Nakua, A.T. Perry, Charlie Jones. The 3 new guys this week. A.T. Perry, Charlie Jones, Nathaniel Tank Dell. A.T. Perry, decent market share metrics about a year or so ago, and then really blew up this year, did well. Charlie Jones had a really good year this season, and then also he was recommended in the comments, so I figured I'd make a smile on your guys' face and throw him in the rankings. Tank Dell, not sleeping on him at all. I think he's a good wide receiver. I've been on him for a bit. A lot of people's been on him for a bit. He was actually a preseason riser going into this year. Very cerebral. Smaller wide receiver, but he's quicker than fast. Good route running. Draft capital is going to matter. Older wide receiver, Senior Bowl wide receiver, but a guy that can be productive, a guy that's quick, a guy's got ball skills, good slot receiver, guy can make things happen. Dontavian Wicks, he's been on my radar all off season long. Athleticism pops. Been watching him throughout the year in college football. A player with good ball skills. This dude pops. Got some metrics behind him in the production. That's what I like to see. Puka Nakua had a good Senior Bowl. So did Michael Wilson. But you know what? I'm going to let him fade a little bit. I'm not going to let that hype up on me, because I recognize them as good ball players. But there's levels to this game, and there's amount of risk I want to take. And you know what? Some wide receivers are not going to get it done for me. A.T. Perry, he could be a sneaky guy. He could be. He's a little bit older. He's a good player. He's got some good numbers to his game. He could be a sneaky player. I could see him sneaking up and being a trendy asset in Dynasty in a couple years. And people are like, yeah, he fell in the draft, but we like him now. I could see that, but I'm not willing to put a wager on it. So he's hanging out here in Tier D. Charlie Jones had a good year this year. Very productive. He was on his 3rd collegiate team. And honestly, good season. Does some good things. I don't think he's going to be drafted high. A lot of these guys probably ain't going to be drafted high. I see some good stuff out of him. But again, I don't have the gusto to put him up there. I don't think the market share metrics really shine for him. The breakout age isn't there for me. And part of that situation happens for a reason as well. Charlie Jones is back there in the rankings, but he's there at least right now. There'll be more wide receivers added to this mix as we add more tiers, more players, and some of them be heading into Tier C instantly. Some of them might even go to Tier B. Just because they're not in there doesn't mean they shouldn't be here. I feel pretty settled with these rankings right now. I feel all right. If I really want to say something, I want to go back over, maybe Cedric Tillman. Some of the numbers are kind of off, and some of the things I want to look at here is more of his tape. I've been going over his tape quite a bit lately. I want to go over it some more. Kayshon Boutte, remember, upside guy. When he was healthy, he was up here with these guys. Love Josh Downs, love Zay Flowers. Jalen Hyatt scares the shit out of me, but he's got the air yards upside. I actually hate Rashee Rice. I hate this guy. I keep moving him down. And you know what? I actually did it this week. And I'll move him down farther if you make me do it, because I will do it. But that's it. Those are the rankings for this week. I'll move them around a little bit next week, but I'm getting pretty settled with some of these guys as well. Let me know in the comments below who you want me to add for next week's rankings. I'll only do a couple each week to add in, and then we'll go from there. But let me know. I want to hear about it. Hit that subscribe button on the way out. I'm the only one out here dropping videos every day, sometimes 2 or 3 a day at that. Hardest working guy out here on the YouTubes, putting out that content. Other channels, there's guys behind the scenes editing and doing that. One-man show right here. I want to thank you for watching, though. Catch you on the next video.